going anywhere. Not bad for $2, eh? Disclaimer, high pressure air is super dangerous. Don't screw around with it. I'm not responsible for anything that happens to you, the people around you, your life, your cat, your dog, etc., etc. If you decide to copy what I've done, it is totally on you guys. I did a thing for myself and I came on YouTube to show you how cool my thing was, and I don't expect you guys to copy it. So if you go ahead and do that, it is 100% on you guys. Okay guys, first things first. First things first. Old man cheater glasses. Check. Guide rails piss me off. They really do. So recently at a field, I was trying to cranny in my 468, and because the Hero 2 regulator body is large, you physically can't undo this with the air tank on. So which means when you want to make an adjustment, you have to take the air tank off, which means the guide rail's got to come off, and then the buttstock's got to come off, the guide rail has to come off, and then you can take your velocity adjuster out, and then you got to crank your tank back on, and the whole thing was just really starting to frustrate me to the point where I crawnied in and realized that my air tank wasn't even screwed in all the way, because I had to account for the burst discs and the air gauge and all kinds of stuff getting in the way of the cocking handle, which needs to function on the 468. So I just had enough of guide rails, 100%. So I made a thing. There are 3 set screws sticking out of my buttstock. Now, if I pull down on this piece right here, which is the actual thing, okay, you'll notice that it is split in half. Okay, so this was a piece of plastic that I measured and cut with a saw to fit into this channel right here where the guide rail goes. Okay, and then I split it up here. Again, you can tell that it isn't even straight, really, the cut, but I drilled and tapped this half here only. And the reason for that was so that I could screw in a set screw right here, and that would push against this side of the plastic, which was not drilled and tapped. So by doing this action, what I've essentially done is created a mechanical wedge. So I screw in on this side, this side of the pin, because it kind of looks like a clothespin or chip bag clip, as you guys on MagFed Paintball love to call it. Maybe that's what I'll call it. So as you screw in on this side right here, it forces this side that way and this side this way because the set screw is pushing on it, and essentially creates a spreading action inside of your buttstock. So it pushes against the tank and the buttstock at the same time. Cool, right? So why didn't I make this out of metal? I didn't make this out of metal because if I was to say if I made this out of aluminum or steel, what could happen is that I could crank this down so hard that I end up damaging the tank. Okay, and that would be super bad considering there's 4,500 PSI in there. So this side right here actually acts as a sort of safety mechanism, if you will. And because of it's plastic, if I put too much torque on these set screws, it's going to strip out the hole before it is going to puncture my tank. Now, by the same token, also, the reason I just didn't put in a square piece here and drill and tap all the way through is because if the set screw was to protrude out the other side, then it could technically puncture the tank. Again, 4,500 PSI, super bad to have that explode. We know what happens to an air tank when it gets loose, don't we, paintballers? So there's that. That's why I did that. And I was just physically done with buttstock guide rails. So let's see a demo. All right, guys. So we'll take the 468, for example. Okay. And something I've noticed is this air tank is a hell of a lot harder to get into some markers than others. Okay. But this guy right here is now seated all the way in. Okay. This is cranked all the way in. This is bottomed out. Okay. Again, I did adjust the Hero regulator so that it would line up with the burst disc. So the charging handle would go over top of it. I don't know if you guys can see that how well, but that was an issue before, where the fill nipple would stick up a tiny bit, or the gauge would stick up a tiny bit, and the charging handle wouldn't work. Okay, so, and that again was because of the rod that went in the bottom. Now you had to have clearance for the rod and the charging handle at the same time. Really wasn't happy with that. So for $2, literally $2, I created a thing. All I got to do is slide my buttstock up to there, flip it over, and just like I showed you guys before, tighten these guys down, but don't crank them, okay? We don't want to cause any kind of damage to the tank, and we don't want to prematurely strip out our plastic holes. But I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how tough this is here in just a second. Okay, check that out. Not going anywhere. Not bad for $2, eh? So, no more guide rails. Perfect tank alignment. It works on every marker I have. It'll even work on a speedball gun if you really want it to. And it cost me $2. And I did it all by myself here at home with a drill and tap kit and a wood hand saw. Maybe a little bit of sandpaper because, well, my sawing just isn't what it used to be. And it was a process. But for $2 in an old M17 buttstock that I just cut, come on. Tell me it doesn't get any better than that. Super cool hack. I'm absolutely in love with it. Let me know in the comments below if this is the kind of stuff you guys want to see, because I am a hack. This is what I do. And we will continue to just hack stuff. And don't forget to drop me a great big like. And if you're not a subscriber, I would appreciate you becoming one. And I'll see you again on the very next episode of MechTactical. Catch you later.